All right, guys, let's talk about saving. All right, saving for your future, growing money, thinking about your options, all things that you definitely want to start thinking about some point soon. Okay, growing money. This is not literally planting money in the ground and watching it grow, because if it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. Growing money is taking the money you have and investing it and saving it wisely so that you can add to the amount of money you have. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about. Why should you save? The best reason to save is because you're going to need things in the future that are expected and unexpected, and you got to save for them. Let's say you want to buy a car, you want to buy a house, you want to buy I don't know, new video game system, you want to buy your mom a Mother's Day present. You don't have the money now. You want to have the money in the future. Saving regularly helps meet your short-term and long-term goals. All right. Short-term needs, expenses that are beyond your regularly monthly items. Okay. When you have a job, you've got things you got to pay for every month. Your mortgage, your rent, your groceries, your household supplies, whatever. Usually, you have to pay for things that are short-term needs out of savings. So let's say there's an emergency, or let's say you want to go on a vacation, or let's say there's a wedding that you want to go to that you have to fly to, or you need repairs in your car, or you need to make a major purchase like you need to buy a new washing machine. Exciting things like that. Usually you need to access savings in order to buy those things because they're not part of your monthly budget. If you don't have savings, you're in trouble. Long-term needs are expenses that are costly, that require years of planning and saving. Buying a house, paying for maybe getting an education, retirement, investing long-term. So those are all things that you need to start saving and hopefully growing money in order to meet those long-term goals. If you have money so that when needs arise, you know that you can pay for it, that's peace of mind. It means your mind is at ease because you know that when needs arise, you're going to be able to pay for them. If you don't have the money in savings, you're going to be constantly worried that something is going to happen that's going to cause you to go into financial debt. So you want to have savings. The amount that you save depends on how much discretionary or disposable income you have, meaning how much do you have once you've paid for everything in your month. The importance that you attach to saving, your anticipated needs and wants, and then your willpower is a big one. If you're just a spender, you need to harness that. You need to rein that in, and you need to start thinking about saving instead of just spending all the money that you have. The amount of money you deposit into a savings account is called principal. So for the use of your money, the financial institution pays you money, and that's called interest. Basically, when you're depositing money into a bank, that bank, it doesn't just sit there. The bank uses that money to do all kinds of stuff. Maybe to give out loans to somebody else or to invest in the economy or whatever. It's paying you to use your money. And that's interest rate. The interest is the money that they're paying you in order to use your money. And as the principal and interest grow, more interest accumulates. This is known as compound interest. Interest paid on the original principal plus the accumulated interest. Annual percentage yield is the actual interest rate an account pays. APY easily compares different accounts. So it's a very standard number that you can use to compare banks to each other and different accounts within different banks to one another. Compounding interest is a little bit confusing, but essentially, if the interest rate is compounding, it's adding 6% on top of what the balance is. So let's say you start with an account that has a 6% interest rate, which would be incredible. You put in $100, and at the end of the first year, you've got $106. Okay? The next year starts not with $100, but with $106. Okay? So instead of you getting $6 every year, now you're getting $6.36. So you've ended with $112.36. The next year then starts with $112.36 and adds on. This doesn't seem like a lot, but over time, compounding interest can gain you thousands and thousands of dollars. It's really amazing. You want to save, you have a lot of different options. You've got commercial banks, saving and loans associations, credit unions, brokerage firms, online accounts, There's a lot of different options for you. Okay, saving options, features, and plans. Let's talk about those. Once you've decided to establish savings, you need to know the different options that are available. So you want to deposit money in several different types of accounts because there's different strategies that you want to follow. A regular savings account has a huge advantage, which is liquidity. The idea of liquidity, it's how quickly you can get your cash without losing value. A regular savings account is very liquid because you can withdraw your money at any time. Okay. However, it's going to have a very low interest rate. So let's say you have a savings account at, I don't know, Bank of America, and you have $10,000 in there. You can access that $10,000 immediately. But the interest rate is going to be very low, like maybe 0.25%, probably less. But that money is very liquid. You can get it very easily, which is great. A CD, or a certificate of deposit, is different. It's not liquid for a long time, but you put money in. Let's say you put $1,000, you buy a $1,000 CD or certificate of deposit, and you have to leave it for a certain time period. So a CD has a maturity date, which is the date where the investment becomes due for payment. So let's say you buy a 3-year CD, you put $1,000 in. The advantage is, at the end of that 3 years, I'm going to have the money I put in plus a certain amount of interest. So it has a set fixed interest rate. The bad side is it's not liquid. If you try to withdraw it early, you can get hit with a fee. A money market account is a type of savings account that offers a more competitive interest rate. And there's a lot that are offered right now through different online banking services. They will pay a higher interest rate. There are some disadvantages right now. It's tied to interest rates in the country as a whole. And so money accounts started with a pretty high interest rate a few years ago, and now it's not any better than a regular interest account because it's all based on the market. So you want to be thinking about how liquid is your money, how safe is the savings account, how convenient, how much interest does it yield, and then any kind of fees or restrictions when you're considering a savings account. So just to review, liquidity is how quickly you can turn savings into cash when you want it. So if you need an account to be very liquid, then it's good to go with a typical savings account. Safety. That's guaranteeing that you're not going to lose your savings, even if the bank or other institutions that you're putting it in fail. So depositing in a bank is almost always safer than depositing money into the stock market. It won't get you as good of an interest rate. You won't grow your money as much, potentially, but you can always access it up to $250,000 because of the FDIC. Convenience, you want to think about where the locations, what services are offered. You want to think about the APY, as I said before, how much is it going to yield for you? Any kind of fees and restrictions you want to consider. You want to understand what the withdrawal restrictions are, what the minimum balance, service charges, fees, and any other requirements. You want to save regularly. It's going to help you meet all your financial goals. It's important not just to save, but to do it regularly, make it a habit. And over time, you can grow your savings into a lot. It might not seem like it at first, but if you stick to it, you really can make saving easy, because you can use direct deposit and payroll deductions to basically not leave it up to you to choose to do the saving, but to have it automatically deducted from your paycheck is another way to do it really well. With direct deposit, it's automatically, your pay is automatically deposited into your bank account, and then you can just set things up so that you automatically pay for different bills so that you don't even have to have the willpower to put things aside. You can just say, all right, automatically some going into savings, automatically going into checking, etc. Automatic deductions are things like auto pay. So let's say you have a car payment every month, you have a mortgage payment, you have a credit card statement. You can set all those things up so that they automatically deduct from your account without you having to send in checks or anything like that. And a payroll savings plan is where you say to your employer, please take these deductions out of my paycheck and put them in savings for me. And that way, when I get my paycheck, I know that it's money that I can spend, not money that I have to save. Another kind of small way to do things is to just collect coins and cash Think about over time how much you could add up to savings just by throwing all your spare change into a jar in your room, and then over time you can save a lot of money. Um, we talked about compounding interest before, but if you add money, then your compounding has an even greater effect. Okay, so you deposit $100 one year, and you get $5 off of interest, and then you start with $105. You deposit in another $100, then your interest doubles, and then over time, um, you are getting way more money than it seems like at first. And that is savings, and that's the end of my story.